And that
like we
was,
did for the chance.
That's what it's worded in here,
yeah,
Bob, is,
And
it
like
says, failure to adopt an impact ordinance shall not preclude a municipality from requiring developers to pay an exaction
right, I saw
for
that in
the
the
cost of
paperwork I
off-site
had too.
improvements needed.
I just have a problem with the
The
word,
word,
We'll try to wordsmith.
you know, but I mean, yeah.
I'll work with the
Okay, so
legislature.
we'll put it in as an extortion fee.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, I'm just
For
kidding.
another year.
Yeah, that would really make it screen, skin crawl, huh?
I mean,
Yeah,
again,
since you're here, I
if
just wanna
you,
follow fish all on you guys.
if you have a person that wants to go through a planning board, cause they wanna get a chance to build a home, and they're told they have to pay an exaction fee, when you put up the money, you've gotta realize, cause it is a compulsory fee, that it's gone. Now, every time I kept reading and seeing that, it says compulsory, that means it's gone.
Mhm.
Unless.
Cause you got the other part of the word there, you have the
you've
other
already
word there.
Shoved it out of your pocket.
You have that word there that also says extortion, which is what it is, it's a compulsory fee that
So
you
this-
either pay it or you don't get what you want.
So we basically have to have some procedures in place to know, so that way the money can go from the, you know, the bond
Yeah, when does it
bank sort of to our general fund bank.
perhaps what might work is annually we have a publicly noticed public hearing for road improvements. So
Yeah, we do.
Jeff comes before the board and he presents his,
That should
you
come
know,
up here shortly.
yeah, he presents his,
Mhm.
you know, plan for the summer
Mhm.
months and a few months ahead for this budget season.
Mhm.
And I do recall one public hearing that he did mention the Holmes Road was going to be included in some of those road improvements, but perhaps just identifying or talking about these types of
Mhm.
things in a public session will identify that, yeah, we're looking to take and do
Mhm.
some capital improvements, and this is the road that we're gonna do it on, and they in fact have an exaction fee, so.
Well, I mean, and I like with my road, Twisto Road, I know when he worked on it, like, probably, it's gotta be 5 years now. He did it in, you know, a 3-year increment,
Right,
and I know he was calling it maintenance, but I mean, he literally redid the whole drainage down the sides. I mean, it wasn't not just simple ditching, it wasn't simple,
Yeah.
you know.
but
small
perhaps
piece. And when you put an
this-
overlay, I mean, it was, places 3 inches thick.
perhaps a public hearing, when they discuss that road in a public hearing would be
Mhm.
the time period that the accounting department starts to monitor all the expenses that are involved with the road, I mean,
I think that goes with what we were looking at, I know you haven't seen it, but, BSMI has a, maintenance,
Yeah, road plan.
road, you know, well, it has vehicle as well as a road, maintenance,
Software.
asset maintenance software,
yeah.
so you can track all that kinda stuff.
And we use BMSI now for everything else, so
Yeah.
it all fits together.
Because I foresee more and more of this kind of stuff happening as we go along with, you know, developments coming and such. That we're gonna need to keep track of this kind of stuff more accurately, otherwise that we're gonna be dealing with, there'll be people like Lamontagne builders, use them as an example, in theory with their lawyers, they've got, you know, deeper pockets than the soul, so they could take us to court and,
Well,
I'm not saying they're going to, I'm just using them as an example,
But I think.
good, better, and different.
If it was just as a case in point for the Lamontaignes, they
Yeah.
understand exactly the process. and
Right,
this-
yeah, they're good,
this
they're
is
good
the
folks to work
process.
with, obviously.
And,
But I mean, there's other ones that may not be so good down the road. We have a lot of land in Dunbarton that could become buildable soon. So we need, you know, need to be, the modern world is, you know, encroaching, gentlemen, whether we like it or not. And I know it's, everybody likes, it's a small town and all this stuff, but you know, what, they're forcing our hand because it's a very litigious society out there. We gotta protect our citizens.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, unfortunately, sometimes.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, George, so I just wanted to just kind of follow up with the planning board that, you know, hopefully
And,
we
and I think also having.
didn't hurt your feelings too bad.
I feel bad for the souls,
Yeah, I did.
but, I mean, that's what they agreed to, and so.
So at this point, I'll make sure that I get a memo to the treasurer to close out those accounts, so we can move them into a liability account, so we can spend them, cause we've already spent the money.
Accounts, would it be just one account, it's just the souls?
Well, there's Kelsey Road as well,
Well, how long has that one been sitting around?
2.5 years already,
2.5 years, we've already spent money on it, right?
not, almost $10,000.
can we wait till after Jeff does his,
Road,
road thing, so we can know where Kelsey Road fits in, cause I mean, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done on Kelsey Road.
okay, okay.
I mean, there's sections that's like, it's,
Is the Chan been, has there money been,
They've sold one property, but it only gets triggered at the building permit level,
Yeah, we
that
haven't seen
person's
building
not ready to
permit
build yet,
alright,
so.
very good,
thank you,
thank
George.
you.
Appreciate
Have a
your
good night.
time. You too. Alrighty, we have, actually, anticipated revenue per RSA 31:95 B3B. It's appropriations made during the year less than 10,000, so we can accept the grant from New Hampshire Lakes in an amount of $1,000. It also includes, $6,000 and change of staff time or volunteer time, I think it is.
Yep.
So, these are payroll grant, we got a payroll grant award, to participate. Blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't give us any numbers, so,
It's on the the contract, I
oh,
think.
okay, I just seen it was.
I think it's in the email that I sent
so
you,
that's-
that's the other part of it.
To Nico and Lou DeVario, excuse me, 2016 Lake Coast Program Payroll Grant Award Notification, congratulations. Town Dunbarton official notification. Payroll grant award is $1,000 to place Lake Coast at one ramp. By signing this letter, your group agrees to the terms of participation as outlined in here, which we've received via email. Maintain membership or become a member of New Hampshire Lakes, which I believe we already did because it's $300 in our budget every year for that. So we haven't paid that yet, have we?
Yes, we have,
We have.
Yeah.
I thought we did, but.
a couple weeks
So
ago.
number 2 is done. And 3, outlined in your group's grant application approval, a total local match of $6,205.92 is 620% towards your payroll grant award. This match will consist of approximately $0 in cash equivalent for out-of-pocket expenses, $5,905.92 cash equivalent of volunteer time. New Hampshire Lakes minimum association membership dues of $300, which we've already paid, and a local fund contribution of $0 for extended Lake Coast employee coverage and or higher Lake Coast employee hourly rate covered through the payroll award. So, in essence, we're
That's a
accepting,
paid volunteer.
there is one, yes, along with
That's what
railroad.
it sounds like.
It is, it's paid volunteer, well,
Paid volunteer?
paid volunteer,
You're an oxymoron.
yeah. Well, there's also other volunteers that, people live there, they'll just do it for free, they'll
Yeah.
monitor, but there's actually, I think they pay, was it like a high school kid or something like that?
Yeah, there was a young lady down there last summer when I was down there.
Yeah, we have it advertised out on the board and on the website that they're looking for someone to do that.
Somebody wants to work on the tin.
Yeah, pretty much,
Cool.
and look at the boats, as long as they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I guess they've been
They
doing
have to
pretty
go
good.
through, they have to go through the training.
Training.
Go through training. So, we've done this year after year, well,
Yeah.
that's what, 3, 4 years?
At least three,
Three.
this might be the fourth one.
Yeah. So we're accepting $1,000 grant, and along with, like a warrant article, we also have to put in other monies for a grand total.
Well, that's labor, that's
That's labor,
by
right.
their application, all
Right.
the volunteers will,
So it gets, so, and our local match is 6,200, so 1,000 is 7,200, so we're under the $10,000,
yeah.
if you look at it that way. So gentlemen, I'll make a motion that we accept the New Hampshire Lakes grant for $1,000, along with our matching equivalent. Is there a second?
Second,
You have a second, is there any discussion?
No, good with it.
I'm good with it.
I'm okay with it then. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, then I guess I will sign it on our behalf and call it good.
Did you sign the 2 copies?
Yep, essentially. Today is the 21st of April, 2016. And I assume you're gonna be the contact person?
Yeah.
I'll let you fill your name in there, cause I'll probably butcher it.
Yep.
Somebody can't spell me.
I can spell that, it's kinda like kills me. it's a UAU or OU, you know, whatever it is.
It's all EAU.
It's all French to me.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
Eh?
Alright. Okay, went to the town business. We have the GIS internet services for maintenance agreements for the town.
Yep.
You guys read these yet? We do this every year, it's for the
Mapping.
mapping.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
It's already in our budget and everything like that.
Anywhere?
Oh, you gonna make a motion to take and sign this, or agree to it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, sign the GSI Internet Service Maintenance Agreement.
GIS,
GIS, what did I say?
you said GSI.
So that, GIS, for a period from April 2nd, 2016 through April 1, 2017.
I'll second that. So, we have a motion and a second, any discussion? No. Again, we do it every year, it's for the mapping and the
Yeah.
assessing and all that sort of thing, and it's already in our budget, so. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sign away, guys. Two copies.
Do we all need to sign?
Yeah.
What were those dates again, Brian?
The dates, April 2, 2016 through April 1, 2017.
Back to Lean, questions for her copies?
Those are a copy of certain minutes.
Alrighty, we got a thing from the NHMA, the municipal sign ordinance after Reed versus Town of Gilbert. This has to do with the Supreme Court decision on signs. We have a couple of sign ordinances that, as I understand, have been, from back when I went to Selectman training, that these have been, inappropriately approved, but as the Selectmen, they use the city RSA's, which.
Oh, same thing that they do with the,
Yeah.
Noise ordinance.
Exactly.
So I've already created a 2017 binder, and the first two warrants that we'll be discussing, if you guys wish to move forward with it, will be those, proper RSA's that we need to adopt.
Well, I mean, so, does anybody wanna work on sign ordinance? Or we
how-
can put it off to another day, I mean,
does it need work?
It may, I read through this, but it is a lot of information here, so I'm not exactly sure if we do meet the, intent. It looks like we are, I know RSA 664-17 has changed, over the course of time. So like for this one, I would put in, 644, RSA 664:17 as amended. You know, only because if you go back to 2006.
Because it changes all the time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because this is the 2006 version. You know, we're in
Right.
2013,
Sure, it's
14,
way
15
different
version.
about that,
Yeah, and I know it's changed.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll take that and take a look at it.
Is there something in there that talks about the temporary signs and
Yeah.
whatnot? I know that when this was first implemented and enforced by the board, the active board, we had a lot of, complaints from the residents because it limits them to putting for sale signs in front of their own property. And what the problem that was occurring is if you had a dead-end road or a side road, you typically would put a for sale sign at the end of the road,
Sure.
and then those signs were being removed from the roadway because they didn't have permission, they weren't on their own property, so there's
Yeah,
and
but
that's
isn't
where I
that the
think
case
we
today with any kind of sign, isn't it? If it's in front of your property, you can remove it?
Good, but I think,
homeowner can remove
I
it.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I mean, unless it's like a road sign, I mean, in the right of way, they can't do that, but I mean,
But this is a temporary sign,
Oh,
yeah.
property for sale.
Yeah, no, I
right, I
understand.
mean, like say, oh god, I don't know, someone on Morse Road wants to put a sign out on, Montalona or Twist Hill Road on each end, because their property's on there saying, for sale, and it's pointing this way,
Right,
that's what you're talking about there.
yeah, I think what, prior to this, or
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly, there were times when people came in and said, I've gotten permission from the homeowner that's on the corner to put this sign to direct traffic to my property, and
I mean, that's something we might be able to put in here,
Yeah.
you
need
can't.
owner permission.
Owner
Homeowner
permission,
permission,
something like that, I mean, we
Or
may have to
property
expand
Yeah,
this,
Yeah,
I mean, just to cover ourselves. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but, probably needs some work by the looks of it, and then we have to adopt it properly
By town meeting,
by town meeting.
Yeah.
So, along with all the rest of them that we probably are no-nos,
yeah,
so.
now is this something
Do
that,
you wanna read the whole thing, or?
No, I read it
Oh, you
when
did,
I was
okay,
in the,
Yep, so I'll leave that with you then.
is this, so whose, responsibility, this is selectman responsibility, I'm assuming, right?
It, probably.
It's not
Signs,
planning
yeah.
board or anything like that?
no, but it's technically not the selectmen's responsibility, it's the selectmen's responsibility to enforce it, but it
Right.
needs to be adopted
By the
properly
town,
by
right,
town,
that's what I
just
meant,
like
yeah.
body, yeah.
So who designs the policy or ordinance?
Yeah,
Cause this is temporary signs, it's not talking about permanent signs, which would be in the zoning ordinance, like, you know, you,
Right.
the dentist, the gas station,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever, like my sign on my garage, for Pike's Garage.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never closed the garage, it's always been in business,
Yeah.
even though I don't actively.
I think
Do
what
it
the town has to
24/7.
do is adopt the
Mhm.
policy, the correct RSA,
Yeah.
and then it would come back to the selectmen to create a policy
Mhm.
and put it in place.
Yeah. We probably put this on our, parking lot list that's on the, should be on the back
Yeah.
of this, you
Yeah.
know, and work on it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Policy,
Do we wanna
ordinances.
do it before it gets passed at town meeting, or are we?
Oh, absolutely, I mean, town meeting's in March, I mean, we should be working on this, you know,
Right.
we have time to work on it, you know, kinda just put it in a draft form and start playing with it,
Mhm.
you know.
Hopefully it passes,
it should, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
As long as
maintenance
we're-
kind
Oh,
of
it's-
thing, it's,
yeah, where you're
Yeah.
rural is helpful for everybody to have
well,
some
we'd
of
have
these
to have
things
a
in
public
place.
meeting anyway, wouldn't we, beforehand?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
part of, the warrants, public meeting, I
Yeah.
mean, we get out there, they can send it out in the draft form to people ahead of time, and God knows what, you know.
have them pass the noise ordinance first.
Mhm.
it's the
then
same
work on
RSA,
it. No,
I think it's the same RSA.
Okay, everybody, you're too loud. Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah.
So, you wanna play with that?
Yeah, I might take a look at it, yeah.
Okay. You alright with that, Bob?
Sure,
Okay. It's not like it has to be done next week or anything.
No,
but
I-
sure,
I'll
we get time.
Yeah, but I'll, poke around at it.
Do we, all the ordinances that we have, can we get,
You
make
want-
sure-
Yeah,
we
we
need
have-
to review
yeah.
them, make sure that they're all been appropriately adopted.
The ordinances?
Yeah, cause I know the police have some, you know, for like, alarms and
I
stuff
know
like
that I've had Joe Marie working on the warrants in general to see what we've adopted and what we haven't, so
Mhm.
that we can determine whether it needs to
Mhm.
be brought before the voters,
Right.
you know, to
Exactly.
legally enforce,
Well, I remember when Jeff Nelson was the police chief, and that's going back a few years, I sat right in that back section over there, probably right about where, a little to the left of Woody, or right of Woody, depending on how you look at it, my left, his right. And Jeff Nelson was up here, and the selectmen, approved like 3 or 4 different ordinances he proposed in one night, and that was a no-no. They probably did the same way, you know, using the city ordinance approval, so. So I know those are probably no good. So, any ordinance we have, we probably ought to really look at it and just, you know, get them all done at once,
okay,
so.
alright.
Like I said, it doesn't have to be done tomorrow, we have some time, I mean, March is only 10 months away.
Here before you know it.
we don't get to approve them anyways.
No,
That's right.
we just gotta create them, and then we have to enforce them, so. Alrighty. We got a letter here from police standards that Chief Scoot's gotta get recertified as a,
Is this the mailbox
Yeah.
you're referring to?
firearms instructor recertification, so he's got a copy of it, so it's an FYI. There you go. Bob's already seen it.
Yep.
We have another FYI here from the chief regarding, radio projects just about wrapped up.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yep, so that's good, you saw the, and the overtime, so we're good there.
Yeah,
Sorted by the email.
yeah, I know, I saw that, yep.
Alright, Steve sent us an email here for me and then everybody else, I guess, maybe. Master plan, which is on my list of things to do, so. This is for me, probably personally, so I'll take that, but I wanna go with the master plan stuff when we're done. That's the mailbox, I think we have.
You had, one document attached to your,
Yeah, I saw that.
I've been working on finding architects to drop a structural
Well, we want
roof
PEs,
plan.
not architects, right?
Well, they're PE, I guess, I'm not exactly sure of the term. This is a list of names they got from Jerry Tipping.
Yep.
And I reached out to Richard Roberts first,
Mm-hmm.
because he's local. And when he spoke to me, he said that they are so very busy that he wouldn't be able to even look at this before July or August.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mentioned that I had a list of names and where they're all familiar with each other. We went down the list and the associates,
Mm-hmm.
if we reach out to them, we can get this service, it'll be more expensive.
Right.
He mentioned that we might want to reach out to this Joel Fisher, he's a
Mhm.
one-person outfit, so if possible, it'll be
Yep.
a lot less, and Joel did call me back. He said he would review the attachments and determine the complexity and get back to me with costs and a time for completion. So I have two that
All right.
said that they would they have looked at the attachments, I know, Rich did. He said he had a couple questions, he was gonna reach out to Jeff Trexler about.
Mhm.
This Chad Montrose is not a structural engineer, but works with metal or something like that, so they probably could not help us. So I still have the other two associate
Mhm.
PCs, or PE, I guess.
Did you ever get hold of Linda, or, what's, not Linda, Miss Pope? What's her first name?
Heidi?
No, I was told that she's not an engineer.
No, she's an architect, but she might know some engineers that might do that
Okay,
type of work.
yeah, no, I have her number on my desk, but where I had these to work with, I started with this first.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the feeling that even if we get any one of these, that the turnaround time is not gonna be as quick as we would like it to be. And so we may be in that position where Paul offered to, pay at the end of the work, but he could not,
Mhm.
Yeah.
be held with the material for a longer period of time, so I'm thinking that,
You want to pay that up.
yeah, we'll have
That's
to pay
fine.
at least the material cost
Yeah,
in
once
advance.
it's delivered, sure.
Yeah,
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 and we already talked on about that, saying,
Yeah,
even
that's
if he,
fine.
instead of hold on to it, I mean, just, as soon as he gets it, give us the bill, so we can
Yeah.
take care of it,
Yeah.
it's in a contract,
Right.
right,
Do
so
it
I'll
by-
continue to, call these individuals, if I don't have any results with anyone that can't give it, me an answer, but even
Mhm.
before the end of summer, then I'll reach out, to others wherever I can.
And when talking with Jeff Trexler, he is extremely busy,
As well, yeah.
with his own work and stuff like that, to tackle that would take and start cutting into his, livelihood, cause he doesn't wanna charge, doesn't wanna charge the town, feels he shouldn't charge the town, so he would do it for free, but then it cuts into his livelihood, it's offered to pay, and he doesn't wanna take any money for it. So he, suggested we find someone else at this point in time, but he'd be happy to, follow up with anybody that would take and, take this on. One thing he did mention as well is that, we may not have to go in through the roof. We could maybe go through the ceiling, cut, or a temporary, sheetrock ceiling there, depending on the size of the wood necessary, depending on when it's designed, and we get a list of materials, we may be able to just cut a hole through the ceiling and just pull it up through that way, so we don't have to. But one of the big things he did recommend was that once the weight is taken off the building, the current roof, and before the new roof goes on is when that work should be done. Because you wanted, in his words, basically you wanted, taken
Time it so that it's.
time it such that, it's all put together and with the least amount of stress on the roof when you're trying to pull the purlins back and everything,
Yeah.
get everything straightened out.
Yeah.
And
Makes
then put
sense.
the weight back on it with the new slate, which means will be, could be a week or so. I don't know if trying to coordinate volunteers is gonna be a doable thing for such a project like that, I don't know. I mean, cause you're gonna need people that are knowledgeable, that are in the building trades,
And have time to give you.
and have time, right, even on
Yeah.
the weekend, I mean, it may be a week's worth of work there, I don't know, hard saying,
Won't you have the roof off of that building? Now it's exposed to the weather too.
You'd have to, temporary tarp it or something.
Yeah, I know, but you can't hold our roofer guy liable for that.
I agree, yeah, so, I'm just throwing this out there, it's a monkey wrench. So, the floor is yours, gentlemen, I don't know,
Has he already ordered materials?
He said it was in,
Yeah.
is being manufactured, yes,
yeah,
and he
That's
said,
That's
I
tough.
wish I'd known this sooner, if I could've been.
This is a tough one, because if he gets the materials and you pay for it,
Mm-hmm,
and while he's doing other business, something happens to him. That's something you gotta consider.
well,
It-
could we stage it at the town garage in the meantime, so, you know, and.
no, no, he's saying that we've,
Yeah, I
we paid for
understand.
the material, but now we have to pay for an individual to install that material.
Well, no,
because you
To
may
hire
lose,
someone else.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but he's doing other roofs.
Mhm,
I mean, you're on a roof, you fall, you get hurt, you
mhm,
might be out of work for a week, you might be out of work for a year.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you have all this slate that's sitting there
mhm,
that no one can install, so, you know, I mean, that's my concern, we're paying someone for something
mhm,
and it just sits there.
right. I mean, I wish Jeff had mentioned this in all these discussions we've had
Yeah, I
during
know,
public
it's-
hearings and stuff,
It's
but I mean,
unfortunate that it came to us this late.
yeah.
It isn't like we haven't had the opportunity to talk
Now,
about it.
he may have said it, in other public meetings, but I don't know if it, so, I mean, I can't say he didn't say it, but I mean,
Right.
it was the first time that I recall hearing something of this nature, that we should take and basically do all this work when it's, there's no weight on it. Because Slate is gonna put a sizable load on it.
It makes
Right.
sense, and then if you're shifting or you're securing the purlins that they're
Mhm.
called, and they shift the outside,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the boards, it
Yep.
could crack the material, it could, I
Yep.
don't know
Yeah.
what it can do, but you're right, it's
It
gotta
puts a
get,
lot of extra stress on everything,
Yeah.
so,
You don't know what you're carrying, I
Right.
mean, and then when you're trying to straighten everything,
mhm.
yeah,
you may not be able to get it where you want it because of the weight on the roof.
that's right, yeah.
So, I mean, after he told me that, and I know I kind of alluded to that in an email when I sent it to you guys, just to give you a heads up that he wasn't interested in doing the job. I mean, the only thing I can think of, shy of doing another warrant article in the, next year to do this and put it off another year, which would be horrible.
Mm.
Maybe get because volunteer work is, it's gonna be, it's like herding cats. We do a great job in town with volunteers, they do an awesome amount of work for us, but I think on short notice with such specialized type of work, it's not like you just bring someone in there and say, shovel off the roof, or, you're taking and, digging a ditch. It's, you gotta know what you're doing and how to fasten it, and you're dealing with stresses and pressures and stuff that, I don't know if I'd wanna submit that to a volunteer that, something happens and something snaps and they get hurt.
Right.
We may wanna hire
So
this
what's
out.
the expectation from this, architect? Would they give us a bill of material and then a process that
Would be an
needs to be
engineer.
followed, or whoever?
Yeah.
But a process that would need to be followed to do the
Well,
installation?
it'd be a set of
Or,
plans.
or once you get material out there, are you just talking about winging it on what you're gonna do?
Well, no, I
Where,
think-
where is that brain
They're gonna
trust
give you,
coming from
they're
to
gonna
give
give
you
you
that instruction?
designs.
Yeah,
They're gonna give you
plans.
designs as to exactly where everything goes, so you're gonna know what
So you just
size
follow the
material
plan?
you're gonna use, how long it is,
What angles
Where-
to cut,
yeah.
where to fasten it, what to
Yeah.
fasten it with.
exactly.
yeah, the pictures I had in that email that I
Mhm.
sent to these guys,
Sounds like
I
a
got a
job.
call right back from Rich, and he said, I have a couple replied, I have a couple questions, can I contact Jeff? And I said, absolutely.
Mhm.
I don't know why that came back so quick, so he was able to either look at the,
Mhm.
um,
Well, it's preliminary, it just kinda gives
Okay.
you the setup, it doesn't tell you exactly which ones are which, and, and he's got, whoever goes up there is gonna probably wanna put their eyeballs on it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
measure it, and, and see how much, and,
mm,
and do some calculations and such.
yeah.
It's-
And I don't know what that environment is like up above that ceiling in there, but is it a safe environment where, volunteers can move around and not come crashing through and?
Well, that's something Jeff and I also talked about, we'll probably have to take and, build some temporary staging of sorts there, so they could, raised platforms, so they could work. Because, it's quite a distance from the,
Sounds like a huge job.
the floor joist to the, or ceiling rafters, whatever you wanna call them.
Yeah.
To the actual
Yeah.
upper ceiling where.
Typically, you
yes.
lay down plywood temporarily,
Mhm.
so you have to bring in material that you may not be using, but you need to bring
But
it
you
in
need
to-
it so you
Yeah.
can do
as a
work.
floor
Right.
area, and then you put your ladders and staging too.
Yeah, you can either bring staging out there or bring it up and build it yourself, you know, some platforms.
Yeah.
That people can walk, cause they're gonna have to be like 3 to 5 feet, I think he said, somewhere in that neck of the woods, maybe, you know,
From
a
the
little
top?
more, you know, above the current rafters or joists. They're more like a floor joist, but I guess it's a ceiling joist. So we gotta do that, you know, so people can walk around, I mean, not at all, you know, if we hire someone else, I'd say that'd be up to them.
That'd be up to them to do it, right?
Exactly, you know, they bring the material and they take the material out, or they bring in metal staging or whatever. You know, they cut a hole in the ceiling, you know, and
So
repatch it up.
would you recommend that I send out a memo to all the departments saying that all planned budgeted projects for this year be on hold until further notice? I know that we did give, Jeff started working on the garage,
Right,
and that's one garage door and he did come up to the office and ask where we stood with the fire alarm system that we got quotes for in this budget, and I said at this point, he's gonna have to hold off on that, until we
Jim,
decide.
we do an accounting of that, the government buildings, you know,
counting.
down for next week, so we can
Detail,
take a look
yeah,
at it,
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe, I don't know what you guys think, but maybe temporarily, just don't, you know, well, I don't know if anybody's gonna do anything in a week anyway, are they?
No,
But maybe we can look at it next week and kinda give it some.
Well, if they
kick
hear
it ahead.
we're doing this, they'll go right out tomorrow.
Okay, we're gonna seal the minutes,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we
It's
ought to
online.
just send a quick email to say, hey guys, you know, just running some, I don't know, you go good with that?
Sure.
You know, so we can, you know, just hang tight so we can take a look at it, cause I
Yeah.
know those
Look
fire
and
alarms
see
are
where
pretty
you're gonna
important
play
too.
with the numbers.
Yeah,
I know we had some, buffer there, I
Right.
think it was around
but
$9,000.
I know those fire alarms and such,
Well,
they have a lot
$9,000
of
isn't
safety,
gonna
so I
cover
really
us.
don't wanna mess with them if you can help
No,
it.
but, for example, the library already sent us a bill, which we'll be paying next week, the floor repair that they had done up there.
Oh, you have it done? Good.
I thought it was Alison and I were ready to pay the 50% down, and I
Mhm.
walked by, did a little lap, and I saw Andrea, I said, let us know when the work is done so that we can, you know, you're satisfied with it, and we can pay the bill. And she says, oh, it's already done 2 weeks ago, it's like, okay, so it came in at $200 more than we budgeted, or 100, maybe 100, was it 500?
It was
for that?
500.
Yeah, we
So
said
it came in at
5.
6, so, a little bit more than what we had budgeted, so. Before we start doing any other
Yeah.
projects, I just wanna make sure,
Okay,
where we are.
and then whatever funds we might have available, we're unencumbered,
Yeah.
you know, we think we're coming.
Oh, you got $1,000 in a lake coast grant.
Great. I think we have to spend it on the lake though. Yeah, sorry, Brian.
No foil again.
You need to add another 0 to that
Yeah,
anyway,
no kidding.
Okay,
or 2.
I'll keep pestering these guys, and then I'll reach out to a few of these others, and,
May wanna take and give Paul a heads up on this, because, you know, we told him to keep him in the loop on any
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
developments.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, 'cause I feel sorry for him, I mean, I don't wanna drag him along, but
Yeah, we kinda
Yeah.
got it out there.
this 11th hour, oh, by the way, kinda throws us a big monkey wrench in it. So,
Yeah.
but I think to be fair to him, we oughta give him a heads up. I mean, if we have to, you know, if he has to deliver a slate, like I say, I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, still it's protected if it's gonna be a while before we have to actually get on the building. Do we have room at the highway garage to store it?
I don't know.
You know, so it's protected, I mean, we don't leave it on laying around the common here,
No, cause space is tight enough.
absolutely, but I mean, it's just, like Bob says, you know, anything could happen to it while it's sitting there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
copper nails could disappear.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they.
What's the price of copper, Woody?
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
kidding,
down,
just kidding.
not worth it.
Yeah, I think everything's down on the scrap side.
The slate may be worth more.
Yeah, probably.
And there's no way they can delay manufacturing that slate. I mean, this is
Mm.
a company that deals with it all the time.
Yeah, I can
They
find
can ask
out,
Paul,
I'll
You
ask
know,
them.
so I'm just curious if, cause, you know, you wanna spend the money to fix the roof, cause we
Yeah.
already agreed to that. But at the same time,
Mhm.
I'd hate to have a ton of slate here
Mhm.
and then be looking for possibly, no, I don't
Yep.
wanna jinx them, but
Yeah.
anything can happen to
Yeah.
anybody at any
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're right, makes sense.
Hey,
You
look at
wanna-
Prince.
I'd like to think that he's gonna win Powerball and
Yeah.
be gone.
Yeah, that'd be more pleasant, no doubt, so. Alrighty, anything else on this topic while we're, the roof is?
No,
No, I think we got it covered.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Oh, it's not-
You're a funny guy, man. That was a good one. Who intended or not, that was a good one. Alrighty. A few other things here while I'm at it, if you don't mind, I'll probably start. Planning board meeting last night. We have, some results back from the master plan survey. We've, received about 105 responses so far, we need to do more if we can.
that's nothing.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I did 95 of them.
so that explains why this thing is skewed so. Some of these comments are pretty good, I haven't had a chance to read them all, but, they're pretty good, so. If you want, we can make you copies, but I mean, it's gonna get changed as we're gonna extend the survey deadline. We're looking at doing some different things, we're gonna send out some, mailers and such, to each individual house to, hopefully get them to jump on board and do it if they hadn't already.
And that's at the cost to, Central New
planning board.
Hampshire.
No,
Oh,
well, they'll do the printing, but we gotta pay the
Oh, okay,
postage and stuff,
okay,
yeah.
alright, just so I know, yep,
It'll come out of the planning board.
telling you about it, okay.
Yeah, you have an extensive email of, town residents, don't you? I mean, obviously you don't have everybody, but I mean, you have a good sizable amount,
Of town,
residents,
well, mostly, mostly committees and, employees.
past and present, I mean, I would think, right?
No, not me, Linda has a mass email,
Well, maybe we can utilize that,
Yeah.
is it, ask if we can utilize that, cause it's, for town business, but also kind of put an email blast out there to the residents who are thinking, to ask them to sign on. Survey Monkey doesn't take long, it's,
The library has a quite extensive list.
oh, they do?
Oh, yes.
thank you, good to know, thank you, Gary. So, we're gonna do something, we're gonna also, what, Steve sent me was regarding the school, we're gonna, send something home with all the school kids, to get their parents, cause that's what we're finding is the people that have been, the demographics of this, that have been, the majority of people have been in town like 30+ years or more. So it's the new people that are not filling it out and stuff, we figured, a lot of the newer people are the ones that have kids or younger people, so we're gonna also do something with the school kids and, so they can take it home to mom and dad and say, hey, you wanna do this? Because we need the information, I mean, we do have time, but, we're trying to get it done, so.
Can I just take a peek at that first?
This?
No.
Oh, this is just the results of the current master plan, thing, so just wanna pass that along to you guys. You got any thoughts or ideas on how best to get it out there and get people to sign on to it and try
Can
it
we
out?
put something up on the marquee, out in front,
It's a great idea,
can we?
Yeah,
yes, Gary?
Got the, Arts on the Common coming up.
Yeah, well, we thought about that as well, we're gonna have, someone out there for that, and also we have an energy fair coming up, kinda dovetailing
I
into
was
it.
gonna mention that Saturday.
Okay, there you go, I'll let you mention it, save me. I'm not done yet though, but I'll let you. So, but, yeah, we thought about Arts on the Common, and haven't, even though it may be non-residents in town, there'll be a lot of residents, and hopefully we'll capture some there as well, so, thank you. So, if you guys have any thoughts or ideas, we're all ears at the planning board level far as trying to get, input for the master plan, so. Lastly on my list of not lastly, second to last thing, you probably saw the emails from Stephanie from the Central New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission.
Sorry, I haven't read it.
Okay, basically, long story short, just in case you haven't read it, it was back, October? I think it was October. I originally emailed her regarding, RSMS it's road surface management
Oh, yeah.
system.
Yep.
Originally, when we talked in the CIP 2
I
years
thought
ago.
they bailed out on that.
UNH and the T-Square people took and it was defunct, it was, in a database, program, and it basically cataloged all our roads and the conditions, and it gave it extreme detail on stuff to help far as, knowing what our roads are and where we need to take and focus our efforts on repairs and maintenance or capital improvements, whatever definition you wanna use. And, so I contacted them, cause it was available, and it was DOTs that helped, create it. But it was defunct because it was just, you had to buy licenses and you had to have updates, and it just wasn't compatible with the new operating systems, and, well, DOT resurrected it, recently, but it's all in the cloud and web-based, so we don't have to buy licenses, it's real easy to use. People go out with palm pads and take care of all the information, take pictures and all that kind of stuff, and do all the documentation, it just uploads to the cloud and it's all ours. So anyway, emailed her about that, she explained that back again, and we're on the list as the next, hopefully the next town to partake in this pilot program. But, so that's that part of that, so hopefully we're gonna be hearing something in May or June, it was, I believe, what she said in the email. But also as part of that, there's a Transportation Advisory Committee on the Central New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission, and Dunbarton's not a member of that committee, and they would like us to become a member, especially if we're gonna be part of this pilot program. So, they call it a TAC, Transportation Advisory Committee. And I brought it to the planning board last night, and everybody seemed to be okay with it, and, at this point in time, volunteer, unless you know somebody that wants to be on it. I know Steve Warren said he'd be on it, and as an alternate, we were talking about Jeff, but I gave Jeff all the information to read, so that way, on the odd case days that Steve's on vacation or something, there happens to be a meeting, Jeff could go in his place if he wanted to, it doesn't have to be Jeff.
So they meet during the day?
Yeah, it's, usually in Bow, usually like 9 o'clock in the morning kind of thing, so. So I'd like to nominate, Steve Warren to be on the Transportation Advisory Committee for the Central New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission on our behalf.
Yeah.
Of course, he'll have to come back and make, if there's anything that's, pertinent to our, need to know, he should be reporting back in either through Lean or to us directly.
Sure.
What was the name again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Which one?
The one you just said,
The
the head of
person's name?
committee, the head of committee,
To go to the committee?
yeah,
Yeah, Steve Warren,
okay, that's what I need,
that's how you spell his name right there, it's at the top of the email.
okay. Oh, okay.
So that would be my motion or recommendation.
Yeah.
Second the nomination.
Okay. Any discussion, gentlemen? No. We can name an alternate later if Jeff wants to do it, or if maybe one of us wanna do it, or whatever the case may be, so, but, that's just a thought. So,
I'm fine with it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Can you do me a favor, Lynn?
Tell Steve
My
he's a
handwriting's not-
lucky guy.
Well, he knows about it
Yeah,
already.
we talked about it briefly today.
If I just sign and date it, can you fill out his name and all that stuff, cause my handwriting is not, I can do it, but it's just. gonna
Want
eat
it
up
to be
time.
legible?
Yeah, one we want it to be legible too, and don't need a whole time.
Yep. There you go.
And that was, it's all master plan crap, just, the last thing I had on my list, right off the top of my head was, Chief Scoot's contract is coming up for, renewal in next year, beginning of next year, we need to start negotiating that with him.
Yep.
I think you guys all saw the email from the municipal association regarding how we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll open the floor for discussion as if anybody has any thoughts or ideas, other than,
No, I think it's a good idea, their suggestion,
okay,
have a rep, meet with him and work it out. I guess the, question I would have is, are we gonna put together an offer, or have him make us an offer for a starting point?
well, they could probably start from where we're at and go from there.
And go from there?
I think, what we talked about in non-public regarding, with the, police standards and training a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
is a factor in there as
Oh,
well.
yeah, no, those things
Right.
would be
Yeah.
that, absolutely.
So I think that should be part of that.
Yeah.
Looking at the current contracts they have, they're pretty anemic, I don't know what your thoughts are on them, but.
I haven't seen this current.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I thought you,
I scanned them to you guys.
You did?
as an
Oh,
attachment.
did you?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's in your email.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's in your
I'll have to go
emails.
look again.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Yeah, it was like, I
don't
wanna
remember
say
seeing it.
2.5, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know that he was agreeable to a simple contract.
Yep.
So it didn't have to be anything lengthy or.
I understand, but, I mean, we probably should have a little bit more, protections in there for the town and for him, I think.
Yeah,
Because it was extremely anemic, in my opinion.
yeah,
I mean, it just, it left out things to, you know, a lot of interpretation or, you know, opinions on how things should be done, you know, so, yeah. So definitely take a look at it, and we can discuss that.
Yeah.
Does anybody wanna, any thoughts on who wants to take and do the, be the point of contact?
Well, it's gonna be done during the day, I'm guessing, right?
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll volunteer if necessary, if not, if someone else wants to do it, then they're more than welcome to, I mean.
Well, whereas you're the chair, it'd probably be a little more comforting knowing you're dealing with it and coming back to us with your recommendation.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
I mean, it's not like we got plenty of time, so it's not like we gotta start tomorrow,
Yeah.
but we can, you know, that way we can start researching it and crafting some stuff. And whatever before I approach him, I'll definitely send it to you guys in draft form, so you guys can weigh in on it before, for the initial sit down.
Yep.
So,
Well, it might be nice to know too, to find out what his expectations are, I think.
yep, absolutely. Well, I'm kind of, when I negotiate, I like to try to get a win-win instead of, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, no,
you know,
absolutely.
win and mess, you know,
Yeah.
screw somebody.
Don't beat him into the corner.
No.
You wanna both leave the table feeling good about what you accomplished.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Because it just makes a better employee for us, and we also know we're getting a good product for our people.
Yep.
So, so that'd be my goal there, is how I approach negotiations.
Yep.
I wish it was that way, easy with the state.